Good evening, students. Good evening, students. Hmm? I have just received this query whether I go for board evaluation or not. Let me tell you, I have been going for board evaluation for a long, long time. And that's why I've kept this live stream also to help you people. In Of course, you all must have revised for your language paper. Now, the purpose, my motive of this stream is actually, of this session is actually to revise all those important things and also highlight some points that you have to take care of while writing your answer script tomorrow. At the same time, I also want that whatever queries, doubts you have, sometimes there are certain things which keep haunting you till the last moment. So you may trust on me to get any sort of clarification that you require in that regard. So, see, for that matter, I would like to proceed one by one for each and every question. All right. So, let's begin with our ISC English exam, which you all are going to appear for tomorrow. And you know that the total weightage of this paper is 80 marks and the time is 3 hours, which you get. Now, children, one thing that you have to be very careful about is that. I think you are not able to see the other. Yes, yes, you are. Okay, so one thing that you have to be very careful about is time management. When it is for 3 hours, please make it a point that you have to spare at least 15 to 20 minutes to revise your paper. Please make it a point, somehow practice your compositions, all your questions in such a way that you are able to finish your paper in 2.5 hours or at least 20 minutes before time. Why am I saying that? One thing is very clear. If you revise your paper and find out your mistakes on your own, then of course your marks are not going to be deducted. But if the same mistakes are found by the examiners later while evaluating your answer scripts, so your marks will definitely be deducted. So, a wise thing is that you should revise your compositions. Once you have finished with your paper, then please revise your paper. Each and every question, each and every composition that you write, you need to read it once again. And I would suggest you that keep a pencil in your hand while revising the paper, and whenever you find any mistake, you feel that you have missed any word or you have misspelt any word, or you feel that you have not put any punctuation mark wherever, whatever necessary, so please do that. It is going to be very helpful for you. Why? Because if you revise the paper and you find out the mistakes, you can correct it right now, and for that your marks will not be deducted. But if you don't do that, there is a possibility that you may lose a lot on these mistakes, which are known as grammatical accuracy is very important whenever we are opting for language paper. So you see, actually this is the paper when all sorts of mistakes, whether they are tense errors, whether they are syntax of words, whether they are punctuation errors, spelling errors, all sorts of errors are counted. Believe me, they are counted and your marks are deducted for that, as per the number of mistakes that you make. So for that reason, I would suggest each and every student appearing for English language paper tomorrow that you have to find time to revise your paper. All right. Now, while explaining things to you, means all the questions, all sorts of compositions and exercises, grammar topics that you need to revise before your exam, I will also tell you how is it that you can save some time to revise your paper later on, so that your paper finishes early. Now, the first question which we talks about is always composition. So, composition, which most of you must be calling an essay. So, but it's not an essay. Essays are supposed to be very lengthy. It's just 400 to 450 words that you are supposed to write. All right. So, it's a composition. And for this composition, this question carries 20 marks, and six topics are given to you, out of which the candidate has to choose any one topic. Now, the topics that are given to you, they are narrative, descriptive, argumentative, discursive, reflective, and a short story. Now, the candidate is advised not to spend more than 45 minutes on this question. So, you all must have written a lot of compositions earlier, and you must be knowing how much time you devote to do this question. Please make it a point that you are not supposed to devote more than 45 minutes to do this question. If you are able to do it before that, nothing better than that. All right. Now, when we talk about this, let's talk about the marking scheme. One of you, Shreya Shalini, is asking me that how much is it going to be, what are the gross marking and grammatical errors, and somehow you have also asked how an essay is checked. So let me tell you, the composition, this first question, it's always marked, it's always checked, evaluated on the basis of two things. One is the content and the other one is expression. Now, when we say content, content actually means the subject matter which you are writing, the points that you will be giving in your composition. Expression means your linguistic ability. Now, when we say linguistic ability, it consists of two things. One is how you present your ideas, and means what kind of vocabulary you are using. And the second is how strong your grammar is, whether you are writing correct spellings or not, whether you are putting proper punctuation marks or not, whether you are using correct grammar or not. So, as you are asking me how to avoid the mistakes. So, see, one thing, I will discuss the common mistakes which students often commit. One thing that I would like to tell you is that please be very cautious about the tense that you are using in your composition. If you are writing in the present tense, so please make sure that the whole of your composition should carry present tense only. You know, students often commit a mistake that they switch from one tense to another quite often, and somehow they don't realize that they started writing the composition in past tense and suddenly they switch to present. That should not happen. If you are switching to tense फॉर अ डिफरेंट रीजन, जैसे मान लीजिए आप कोई पास्ट में कोई स्टोरी, कोई नरेटिव लिख रहे हैं, इंसिडेंट विच हैज ऑलरेडी टेकन प्लेस एंड यू आर राइटिंग इन द पास्ट, राइट, बट यू आर राइटिंग योर रिएक्शन एट प्रेजेंट over that situation which happened in the past. Of course, that reaction is going to be in present. That's okay. But for say you are narrating it in the past tense and suddenly you switch to present, that is where your marks can be deducted. All right. So one thing is that please avoid these tense errors. Secondly, spelling errors. So for that, the best thing is to revise your composition at the end. So if you ask me how to avoid you see, whenever we are in the flow of writing, for say you read the question and after that you just start writing the composition or the essay, your whole concentration, your whole focus is on those ideas or the points that you need to develop in your composition. Okay, at that time you do not care much about grammar. But when you revise whatever you have written at the end, you yourself will find many things, that many sort of mistakes, silly mistakes sometimes, and you may correct it at that time. So if you ask me how to, of course you have to avoid mistakes, and that would be possible if your command over English language is really good. But still I would say those who have good command over English language, sometimes they also commit very stupid, foolish mistakes. And you know, when they read it on their own later on, once they finish with their paper, then they are of course able to understand what the mistake is and they can correct it. So Karmanya Goyal, Karmanya, you are asking me, ma'am, for argumentative essay, are we allowed to use rhetorical question, and would it seem like speech? Of course it would seem like speech. It would definitely seem like speech. Rhetorical questions are used in a debate, not in argumentative composition. In argumentative composition, you can convert a rhetorical question into a statement. Okay, whenever, see, I know, Karmanya, I have seen the kind of writings that you write. your points are very strong, but sometimes you are not able to differentiate between an argumentative composition and a speech. So, for that reason, whenever a rhetorical question is coming to your mind, I would advise you to transform it into a statement and then write it. All right? This way, you may avoid this mistake. Now, so as I was telling you, one is the content and other is the expression. Content carries 12 marks, expression carries 8 marks. Content is marked on the basis of the points which you amplify, description given, while the expression carries weightage for grammatical accuracy, spelling, punctuation, use of vocabulary. All right. So, Shreya is asking which essay is best and scoring, whose vocabulary is not good for class 10. See, right now I am not talking about class 10, I am talking about class 12. So, it's better that class 12 students join, or even if class 10 students are here, they may come to know it's more or less same, but somehow there are certain things that are different in class 12. So, I can talk about those students of class 12. First of all, please understand, nobody is going to mark you or evaluate you on the basis of flowery language. That if you write very high vocabulary, if you write very heavy words, then only you are going to get marks. That is not there. The thing is that your compositions have to be error proof. There should not be any mistake. This is what you need to focus upon. Now, those who are aspiring for 100%, of course, in their scripts, the examiner would expect some sort of, figurative language that you are supposed to write. All right. Now, as I told you, the first type of composition that you get, that is descriptive composition. So, a descriptive composition generally focuses on description. Now, what is description? Description is portraying a person, place, object, experience, memory through vivid details to help the readers create a picture in their mind of what is being written about. Now, how would that be possible? How would it be possible that whatever you are writing, the reader will be, means the evaluator or the examiner will be able to create a picture in his mind when your description is really strong? And how is your description going to be strong? When you give detailed observations. Now, detailed observations for what? Description appealing to sense organs. Description appealing to sight, sound, feel, taste or voice. It depends on the question. Right? So, sight, sound, feel. These three are important components which you are going to find in every descriptive composition. Now, taste depends on the type of question which is given to you, or the voice. What you hear means the voice in particular, that also depends on the kind of question that you get. All right. Now, use of simile and metaphor help a lot. Not too many. It's not that like after every sentence you need to use these comparisons or simile or metaphor. But yes, in descriptive compositions, it is expected that you should make use of simile and metaphors. Now, you see, as you were asking me, which is the most scoring composition, I would suggest you that is descriptive composition only. Okay, Oshin is asking me, ma'am, are marks deducted for giving wrong statistical data in an argumentative essay? See, Oshin, you should avoid that. If you are confirmed and sure about something, then you give that data. If not, then write it in a generic language. Okay, see, for example, you know the rate in India or literacy rate in India. If you know exactly the data, then you put it. If you don't know, you just write it that the literacy rate in India is very low, it's poor, it's not up to the mark, it's not as good as in such and such country, something like that. So, giving exact details, they may sometimes be dangerous, because you never know, the examiner who is checking your script may be so sound in current affairs and GK, and there may be contradictory this thing. But one thing I would like to suggest, nobody deducts marks for such things, but yes, they may somehow deny that point supporting which you have written that statistical data. Okay, so they may say that this point is not valid. That should not happen. In the content, you will have to give 4 points, because content is for 12 marks. So 3 marks for each point, and that is how it makes 12 marks. So 4 points means 4 paragraphs have to be written. Now, next is narrative composition. So, narrative composition deals with subject like journey, a visit to a place, events such as wedding, ceremonies, or a quarrel sometimes. It may also refer to biographies of great people, a story, real or imaginary. These types of compositions are narrative compositions. These essays have to be age appropriate. Now, when you say age appropriate, what does it mean? It means that while describing a ceremony, you cannot talk about your marriage. Okay, everybody knows that at this age you can't be married, right? So it can be description of someone else's marriage. You can narrate a ceremony in someone else's wedding, but not your own. So if you do that, that is not going to be age appropriate, and you may get your marks deducted for that. So narrative compositions have to be age appropriate. Now, very brief built up on the situation is required in these compositions. You know what happens? We often, as examiners, we often see that students, they write a lot in just creating the situation, in building up the introduction or the situation. No, that is not supposed to happen. You give a brief introduction, then focus on those 3 or 4 ideas which you are supposed to write as the content of your composition. Okay, otherwise what happens? For example, let me give you an example also. Sometimes you are narrating your visit to a place. Okay, now, when you have to narrate your visit to a place, of course, the description of place is required. Your feeling is also required. Why did you go there? That is required. What you saw, that is required. What you heard, that is required. But if you start describing the place to such an extent that you have not talked about the other aspects, then of course you won't be able to get full marks or good marks. All right. Sequence of events with some reference to events happening before should be given. Use of some description of a place, people, surrounding, behavior, that should be given. Involvement of self. Why? Because in the narrative composition you will find that I is the center. I is the center, and appropriate summing up or proper ending. All right, there is somebody, I don't know, ma'am, is there any specific thing that might make your composition miss the mark by 1 or 2 marks? That is 18, 19, or 20. So, beta, there is proper calculation, proper marking scheme that has to be followed. So, in that situation, like for example, let me tell you, as you are asking about 19 or 20 or 18. So, your marks for expression are divided as per certain slabs. That if the child is making just 2 errors, so I don't know, means every year that differs. So, like for example, up to 2 errors, no marks deduction. Now, for say, another slab is 3 to 5. That if the child is making errors from 3 to 5, means 3 errors to 5 errors are committed in the composition, child should be given out of 8 for expression, the child should be given 7. Now, what would happen in that situation? For say you have committed 3 errors, so then it will be 7 here. Even if you are getting 12 in content, so it will become 19. So actually, this variation of marks, when you lose slightly, that is mostly on because of expression, the number of errors that you commit. So you will have to be confident, you will have to somehow make sure that you do not commit any grammatical error. That is how you can get full marks in composition. Now, next is the argumentative composition. As Karmanya asked me the question, argumentative composition seems like debate, but it is not a debate. Debate is meant for speaking. composition is meant for writing. All right. So, argumentative composition may begin with an incident, anecdote, news item, other references to prove a stand. Now, again, I would like to repeat myself. I have often seen students writing that whatever the topic is, I stand for the motion, I stand against the motion. Again, it's like debate only. You are not supposed to, when you are taking your stand. All right, this is Divya. Okay, so when you are taking your stand, at that time you have to give a situation. The introduction of argumentative composition is supposed to be a situation, and then it should be clear to the examiner that which stand are you taking. Now let me give you an example. For example, the topic says plastic bags should be banned. I am taking a very common topic. Plastic bags should be banned. Whether you have to write for or against this statement. All right. Now, how will you begin your composition? First, you will talk about the impact of plastic bags on the environment. Okay. Now, once you have written, after that, for say, if you are standing for the motion, you say that yes, it should be banned. So you will just first write the impact. Our environment these days is badly affected because of too much of use of plastic bags. Therefore, I strongly feel that plastic bags should be banned. This is, you will not say I stand for the motion or I stand against the motion. And if you are for, say, you are against the topic, our environment is badly harmed because of the plastic bags, but we cannot deny the fact that plastic bags have become a necessity and a part of every household. So it will be very difficult to ban them, or we are going to make our lives difficult if we ban them. Okay, so this way you are supposed to take a stand. I hope I am able to make it clear to all of you, right? Now, please remember, if you are opting for argumentative composition, your composition means you have to take the stand at the very beginning. One definite stand stated clearly, no sitting on the fence. No sitting on the fence. You cannot talk both sides. Establish the stand through examples, justifications, or arguments, at least 4. So I would suggest you, if you have 4 arguments for this composition, then only you should go for it. If you don't have 4 points to elaborate upon, don't go for it. All right. Touch of humor is preferable. Tone must be assertive but not didactic. It's not, you are not supposed to make it a moral story. It's not that we should do this, we should do this. You are not going to make it didactic. Somehow your tone has to be assertive, as if you are presenting facts, so that you are able to convince the examiner and especially the reader about what you are writing. Now, next is discursive or reflective composition. What does it mean? So, you see the difference in argumentative and these types of compositions. In argumentative composition, you have to take one stand, either for or against. But in discursive or reflective, it's like you have to express your opinion. Now, you may completely agree with whatever the statement is, or you may partially agree, completely disagree, or partially disagree with the view given in the question. So it gives you more freedom to express your thoughts. Okay, you don't have to stick to one side. You can talk about both sides. So the way you were justifying your arguments or your points in the argumentative composition, you have to use examples, at least 4. Now these examples, they can be anecdotes, they can be real or imaginary incidents, they can be news reports, they can be personal experiences to justify the statement and your stand, of course. If not able to take a stand, better choose this topic. I would suggest that. All right. Now, next is expository. That is one word. Now, this one word topic, again, it provides you a lot of freedom. Why? Because this topic can be treated like a narrative, like a descriptive, like a discursive, or you may even write a story on it. Not a general discussion on the topic like textbook information you are supposed to give. Some of the best compositions are on such a topic since the writer has the freedom to explore it in his or her own way. All right. Now, next is story writing may not be age appropriate. Now, when it comes to story, so please understand the difference between narrative composition and story writing. Narrative composition basically is based on you are the center, and whatever you are narrating there is based on your life, your experiences. So, in that condition, it has to be age appropriate. But stories are imaginary, all right. So, in that way, you can assume to be an elder, younger, fictitious character. So, it's not necessary that it has to be age appropriate. But one thing that is very important is that it has to be original. You have to write your own story. You are not supposed to write the story of any other author or writer that you have read. Sometimes students feel that how would the examiner come to know? Please understand, those examiners are English teachers only. They must definitely be reading books. I would say that they must have read more than you. All right. So please don't do that. Now, one more thing that you have to be very careful, that your story, whatever you are writing, it cannot be a dream sequence. If you make it a dream sequence, often what students do, they write the whole story, and then at the end, a very common ending is seen that then suddenly I saw my mother waking me up and she was shouting at me, and I realized that it was just a dream that I was watching. No, you are not supposed to do that. If you do that, you lose marks on it. Now what are those 4 points that have to be given in the content or the subject matter of a story? One, of course, title. I would say every composition must bear a title. You have to write a title. Then plot, characters, setting, and logical conclusion. These 4 are the important things that you have to write in a story. Self may be a character but cannot be the center. If it is a center, then it becomes a narrative composition. How would it be a story when I is one of the characters but not the main character around whom the story is revolving? Must have events and turning points that make it a story, not to write as a narrative composition, mere first person narrative. That should not happen in a story. Now let's talk about general aberrations. Means common mistakes. One is no paragraphs. Students often change paragraphs. They do not divide their composition into various paragraphs, and for that, clear cut 2 marks are deducted. It's a rule. Okay, so you have to make sure, and I would tell you, means I would suggest you, your composition must have 6 paragraphs. How? A brief paragraph of introduction, a brief paragraph of conclusion, and 4 points or ideas. In case of argumentative composition, 4 arguments that you are giving in 4 different paragraphs. All right, so paragraphing is very important. Don't forget that. Next general aberration is short script. Sometimes children don't write. If you write less than 350 words, you get minus 3/5 of marks obtained. Now, children often ask, what if we write extra? See, if you write extra, there is no deduction of marks. But yes, 450 words cannot be 1000 words. Okay, but if you are making 450 into 500, 550, that's okay. There won't be any deduction of marks for that. Why? Because you are already losing on time. That's a sort of penalization only. But yes, if you write short script, if you write less than 350, then your marks will definitely be deducted. So please make sure that you are able to write at least 400 words. Then gross errors. Now, what are the gross errors on which students lose marks? One is sentence structure, syntax, grammatical constructions, punctuation, spellings. Now, mark deduction is done according to number of errors in the expression. Now, number of errors, as I have already told you, there is always a slab, different slabs which are given. If the child is committing these many mistakes, then deduct these many marks. If the child is committing these many mistakes, deduct these many marks. So this way, so you have to make sure that your compositions have to be error proof. Now, sitting on the fence in argumentative composition, if you do that, minus 3/5 of your marks obtained. Then misinterpretation of the given topic. Sometimes the topic is something else and the child doesn't understand and they write on some other topic. So in that condition also, your composition will be read and evaluated, but whatever you score, marks obtained, then minus 3/5 of that. Now, when in the story, you are often given the question when they give you certain words to begin with or to end with. Sometimes they provide you with a theme, sometimes mentioning about that character. So whatever prompt is given in the question, you need to use that prompt. If you don't do that, minus 3/5 of marks obtained. All right. So these are the common mistakes which students often commit. Now, I would request you, please let me know any questions, any queries related to composition. If you have, please put it in the chat box. Otherwise, I'll move to the next topic. Yes, I would like to take your queries. So, Uday Goel is asking me, ma'am, gross error can take how much marks at the max? 8. 8 marks. Sehaj, ma'am, in reflective essay, if topic is if winter comes, then spring be far behind, okay? Can we narrate our own personal incident? Of course. Of course. See, a statement is given, right? It's a proverb that way. And you understand the meaning of that proverb. So you will give a brief introduction. After that, you will prove this proverb to be true or false. See, in reflective, you can talk about both sides. Now, how will you do that? So, what does the proverb mean? That you say na that if winter comes means if we have difficult days in life, if we have adversities in life, so good days are also going to be there. Means if we have negatives, positives are also going to be there. Okay, if we are sad today, there will be situations in life when we'll be happy. So one should always be positive about that. The way seasons are not the same, in the same way our situations in life also keep changing. So now so this is what the topic means. Now to prove this, you may use your personal experiences, you may give example of some other person also, you may give example of some great personality, you may use any text, any author, regarding that. So of course you can make use of your personal experience. Ma'am, is it okay to attempt the composition at the end? Of course. Rather, I would suggest that. I always suggest that we should do comprehension passage at first. I always feel that. The reason being that comprehension passage, one reading you can give while reading time is going on. So you can quickly give one reading, and then if you start doing with the comprehension, that is my way, and that is what I always suggest my students also to do. Otherwise, whichever question you feel the most confident about, go ahead with that. Okay, composition, of course, you don't know how you are going to be tackling with it. So it requires certain planning as well. So you may do it at the end. Okay. Now, I think your queries about composition is done. Now, I would like to talk about directed writing. And for that, what I am showing you is a ready resource for teachers and learners of English language at ISC level, which was provided by CISE. Now, children, for these 5 types of writings that you have as directed writing, I would suggest you consider it as your Bible. Follow it ritually. Now, when I say follow it ritually, it doesn't mean that you are going to copy the specimen which are given over there. You won't be given marks for that. When I say follow it ritually, it means the format, the way these compositions are written, you need to follow the same while writing. All right. So let me read it for the year 2026. This is something that you need to focus upon. The piece of directed writing may be based on the information and all the points provided. The required length is 250 to 300 words. Minimum 250, maximum 300. Uh, the range of subjects includes feature article, book review, speech writing, newspaper report, and SOP, that is statement of purpose. So, in your syllabus, you have only these five compositions. One is article, second book review, third is speech review, fourth is newspaper report, and fifth is statement of purpose, that is SOP. Now, what do they test with these compositions? See, one composition is already given to you. Now, these guided compositions or directed compositions, what do they test? They actually test skills such as amplifying. Amplifying means elaborating on the points which are already given in the question, describing, and restating. Restating means a point is already given. You are stating it again, but by elaborating on it. All right. The candidate's ability in the above skills, including format, please note, including format, will be taken into account, as well as their ability to handle language appropriately in the context of the given situation. Now, when it is like your ability to handle language appropriately is also taken into consideration, it means that these compositions also have marks for expression. All right. So how many marks are there for expression? 3 marks actually. So you are given in the question 6 points. Every point carries 2 marks each. So it becomes 12 marks. 3 marks are there for expression. Now 6 points, 12 marks. What does it mean? 1 mark is for mere mention, 1 mark is for amplification. If the point is not amplified, then you will not be getting marks for that point. But yes, 3 marks for expression. Again, they will count the number of mistakes you have done, and accordingly there are going to be different slabs. But this question is very scoring, children. I would really want that you should focus on this question and somehow make sure that you do not make any sort of mistakes while doing this question. So as I told you, 15 marks are the total. Content is for 12 marks, linguistic ability 3 marks, 1 mark for format, and 2 marks are there for expression. So if you make mistakes, grammatical, spelling, punctuation, whatever, so those gross errors are going to cost you 2 marks only, not more than that. But of course, I would not want that you should lose even those 2 marks. Okay, now let's talk about the first guided composition, which is article, feature article. So actually it's a piece of writing that may be addressed to a past event or pertinent issue or a theme. It may be a newspaper article or written for a magazine or a journal. It may be persuasive, informative, entertaining, or discursive in nature. It expresses writers' personal views. Now, this is something that you actually need to understand, that article writing is basically your personal views that you have to write about the topic. Okay, now for those personal views, they have already given you points, and you need to elaborate on those points for that. Now, if we talk the format about the format, what it includes: heading, title, and then a byline. Byline actually means where you write the name of the author, and then formal tone. Your article should have a formal tone. Now, as you can see, this question came last year. The importance of sports was the topic of the article that children were supposed to use. Children were supposed to write. The title was already given. So most probably you will be given the title. But if you are not given, then you have to invent the title. But it can't be that you will just leave it like that. First, the title has to be written. Now, when you write the title as it is given here, please see the importance of sports. The T capital, importance I capital, sports S capital. Even if you write OF like this, that would also be fine. Otherwise, for connectors, prepositions, we don't consider it. But even if you write, that is okay. But if in case you write the title for, say, like this, the importance of sports, it'll be absolutely wrong. You will not be given marks for that. So for that reason, either you write the title in capital letters only. Let all letters be capital. Okay, otherwise title is always written like this, that the first letter of each word should be capital. All right. After that, byline as it is given here, a student reporter, you may write your name as well, like by XYZ. XYZ may be your name. My name is Vineeta, I can write by Vineeta Sharma. But full name should be written, okay? Because the tone has to be formal. All right. After that, as you can see, so the question is given, as you can see in the question. One point is inculcates discipline, second builds teamwork, third has health benefits, fourth develops leadership quality, fifth leads to character building, and sixth provides career options. So this way, six topics are given, 6 points are given, and all these 6 points have to be included in the composition. I would suggest you to go through it once so that you understand how you are supposed to write and how to present these points, these ideas in your composition. All of them should be mentioned. Okay. If you want, I can show you how it is checked. Like, for example, the examiner will read sports player significant role in prompting overall this. One of the most valuable lessons sports teaches discipline. First point covered, mentioned. Now, what is written about discipline? Regular practice, adherence to rules, punctuality, and consistent efforts help build a strong work ethic and self control. These habits extend into academic and personal life as well. So, amplification is also done. One first point completed. Okay, this way, each and every point has to be mentioned plus amplified. I hope I am clear in making this understand. Okay, now the next composition that you have is book review. Now, book review is assessment of a book, that a book that you must have read, and the essential parameters which are supposed to be there, like plot, theme, characters, if it is a fiction, style, tone, you know, all these should be talked about when you write book review. So this form of writing requires the writer to offer their opinion and not merely record the factual details about the book. Now, the components of book review are these are the points. Name of the book and author must definitely be there, genre must be there, brief summary without revealing surprise elements, characters and plot wherever necessary, style, language, vocabulary, sentence structure, what kind of tone is used, and passive voice should be used. Byline is not required. All right. So as you can see, so when they say it's not required, it doesn't mean that you cannot give it. Okay, so though the format, which means the specimen that they have given, they have written XYZ here, means you can give the byline. Karmanya is asking something. Ma'am, in the book review, one of the prompts is main characters. What if our book does not have a main character? Beta, this is not the prompt. These are the components that they have talked about. Prompt is what is given here with the question. Now, as you say that what if, no, if you see main characters as the prompt, then you will have to write the review of a book which is fiction, which has characters. I hope I am clear on this. You will read the prompts, you will read the points, and accordingly you have to select a book that you are going to write the review upon. Hope I am able to answer your query. See, you are saying what if it's an informative book? It's not that you have read one book only throughout your life and you are going to review that book only, whatever question comes. So, in the book review, see, that way, if you see past year's papers, once only when book review was asked, so they give this scope to the child. Okay, but if in case, because the topic that they have given here in the specimen, it talks about main characters. So when, if it is given as a prompt, then you will have to write about a book, a novel, or something which has characters in it, right? Okay, ma'am, can the council specify whether to write a review of a fictional or non-fictional book? Yes, this is how they will specify, na beta? Like in this question, they have said characters, main characters. So, setting, plot, main characters, description of a scene or incident, all this you will be able to find in a fictional book only. Otherwise, they may give the genre. Of course, they may give the genre that may be given in the question. Okay. So now let's look at the format. How is it going to be? Title of the book by name of the author is going to be the heading, and then as they have given XYZ here, means you can write your name. Even if you don't write, that's okay. Okay, and then you will see all the points that they have discussed here. All these points are included in the composition. I hope it is clear. Now let's look at the next composition, which is newspaper report. Now please understand, reports are of two types. One is newspaper report, another used to be a report for a school magazine or something, but that is not in the syllabus. What you have in your syllabus is newspaper report, and newspaper report has a different it has a different format. Now what is the difference in the format? That of course headline will be there, byline will be there, place and date. Place and date is something which is mandatory in a newspaper report. You can look at any newspaper, you will see on the left hand side they always mention place and date. Now when we say place, place actually means place of the incident. Okay. And then formal tone, passive voice, opening paragraph should tell us what happened, body should tell us who, what, when, where, why, how, and closing is the reaction and consequences that you have to talk about. As you can see, the question, the specimen which is given over here, it's about a bank robbery. Daylight robbery at ABC Bank shocks city residents. By staff reporter, you can also write by our own correspondent. You can also write the name. And then left hand side, New Delhi, where the incident has taken place, and then date. Any date you can write. You can write the date of your examination as well. So see, that way in the newspaper, the incident is published next day. So the incident must have taken place on the previous day. So you see here it is mentioned 18th July, and the place, the date of incident is mentioned as 17th July. So like for example, your exam is tomorrow, 13th February. So you can mention the date of incident as 12th February. All right. These are the things of common sense. Somehow it is believed that as a student you should know that newspaper report is published on the next day of the incident, right? So that is the idea. In the very first paragraph of the report, date, time and venue when the incident took place must be mentioned. All right. Then how it happened, why it happened, all that description should come later on. You should definitely mention about some eyewitness. You may even write about some statements. You may even write about, so whenever you are giving a statement, as you can see, they knew exactly where the CCTV cameras. Can you see that they have put it in the, it has to be put in the double inverted commas, quotation marks. Why? Because you are quoting the words of a person. All right. Then what is the stand of authorities on it? City police commissioner confirmed that a special investigation team has been formed. So please go through it. Please go through it. So when you have to revise for last minute revision also, this document is very important, children. You should definitely revise it. Take it in a printout form, and as a hard copy, and carry it with you, and before your exam also you can go through it once. Then statement of purpose, SOP, very important. It's a narrative that is written persuasively to highlight the academic background, achievements, motivations and career aspirations of the candidate. It is written for the specific purpose of seeking admission to a course or university. So the purpose of SOP is only to get admission in a particular course or in a particular university. Now, what are the points that it should definitely include? One, of course, introduction. Any composition must have an introduction. But here, introduction of yourself. Then career goals and motivation. First, it has to be first person account. Academic background means schooling, subjects and achievements, experience, research, internships which you have done relevant to the course, why this course and university. This question should definitely be answered in your SOP. If your SOP doesn't answer these two things, that why have you chosen this particular course or why have you chosen this particular university, your SOP would be incomplete. All right. Then personal qualities like what you bring to the program, and then name at the end. Now look at the format. In this format, your name comes at the end. All right, your name comes at the end. In other compositions, you were writing the name just after the title. Okay, so this is what statement of purpose is. I'm sure you guys must have written many SOPs for different universities for the courses that you must be applying in, right? So speech writing. Next, our next composition is speech writing. So again, speech, you all know it's a very common kind of composition. So it's a persuasive form of writing that convinces the reader of the writer's stance, what the writer believes in. It is written in first person and engages directly with the audience or readers. The purpose of speech determines its tone and style. A speech addressed to a group of junior class students would make use of words such as dear friends, while a speech intended for teachers would maintain a respectful tone, right? So, this you have to be careful about. Now, the speech has to begin with proper salutation. Good morning, respected principal, teachers, and my dear friends. Huh? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So means proper salutation should definitely be there. Then introduction of the topic, a very clear and purposeful introduction of the topic should be given. Today I stand here in front of all of you because I want to express my opinion on such and such topic. Whatever it is. Then to engage the audience, as Karmanya asked me, can rhetoric questions be used? So you will have the scope of those rhetoric questions here in speech writing. All right. Use of appropriate idioms and proverbs, first person narrative and formal tone has to be used. Body of your speech, it should organize main points logically, 2 to 4 paragraphs. Use connectors like firstly, moreover, in addition, however, consequently, for the flow. That consistency should be there. Support each point with examples, reasoning or experiences. And then it should have a proper conclusion. Summarize key thoughts. End with a positive note or call for action. Thank the audience. Thank you for your time and attention. Thank you for listening to me so patiently. Right? Use a formal tone. Language should be clear, engaging, and direct. Avoid slang, contractions, and overly complex sentences. Now, one thing that I would like to tell you, children, contractions. Let's talk about contractions. Mostly it is seen, what are contractions, you know? Contractions are like isn't. Instead of saying is not, you are saying isn't, hasn't, haven't, doesn't, didn't. Don't write them in your English papers, be it language or literature. You are not supposed to use contractions except in the transformation of sentence asking for a question tag, or in the transformation of sentence where the contraction is used in the question. Other than that, you are not supposed to use contractions at all. It is considered an error and marks are deducted for that. I hope I am clear on this. So please make sure that you do not use contractions. Now here again they have taken it from previous year's papers. Farewell speech, it was there once. As you can see, 6 points they have asked for, prompts they have given, and based on that you are supposed to write the farewell speech. Speech only, the format of speech only consists of the title. Okay, and you are not supposed to write any byline for that. Why? Because your introduction you will be giving in the speech itself. You will tell your name, who you are, while addressing the audience, right? I hope you all are clear with this. Now this sixth composition which is given, it is not in your syllabus, it is for 2027 batch. Okay, so please don't get confused. This blog writing is not there in your syllabus. I hope you are clear with guided composition, children. Now I would like to take your queries on guided composition. Any doubt, any queries that you have regarding that, please let me know. Yes, or should do you want me to move ahead? Hmm. Okay, so let us talk about the next composition, which is proposal writing. Now you see, I know this handwriting you may not be liking here, but somehow I feel that it's going to help you. Why? Because when we talk about proposal, it seems very easy. Somehow it's very scoring also, but sometimes students get confused, what to write in introduction and what is to be written in objectives, what is to be written in list of measures. So let me clarify certain things. First of all, the title should definitely be there, proposal for, and then dot 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 means you will have to take it from the question. Proposal for setting up a debate club, proposal for organizing a science exhibition. All right, somebody is asking, ma'am, is film review in our syllabus? No, it's not there in your syllabus, beta. Film review is not there in your syllabus. You have only these five compositions which I have just discussed with you: article, newspaper report, book review, speech, and SOP, statement of purpose. That's it. All right, so now let's discuss about proposal. Proposal for, so this title has to come. First is the title that you will write in the center, a proposal for, and then whatever it is you will take from the question. I would suggest you please write it in the capital letters only, so that you are not confused which letter has to be capital, which letter has to be small. After that comes introduction or heading. Whether you call it heading or you call it introduction, that is your choice. Just 10 words are supposed to be written in that. But introduction carries 2 marks. Now, when it carries 2 marks, it means two things, 2 points have to be told about. So, when you are introducing the topic, you will talk about 2 things that you will achieve or you want to introduce by that particular activity which you are doing, or for which you are writing this proposal. All right. After that comes objectives. Objectives means purpose. It tells why. Why are you proposing this? Why do you want to conduct that particular activity, or you want to set up that particular club, whatever it is? So, you may always begin just giving you ideas like to arouse interest, to encourage students, to develop keen interest, to appreciate. So, these are just some words, keywords, prompts with which you can begin your objectives. Then list of measures. List of measures is how. So, how you are going to conduct that activity or do that program or set up that club, whatever it is. So, in that, you need to mention time that will be taken. You may mention date, time also. Budgetary project, appointments. Appointment means who will be the functionaries, who is going to take care, who is going to be the in charge of that activity. If discipline people are required, if people are required for discipline, who are going to be those people? All right, those appointments you should talk about, you may talk about those appointments. Then days, how many days will it take? Concludings, and after that you have to mention. So 4 points that have to be given in the list of measures. You can remember these 4 points: one, time, date, time, place; budgetary requirement, finances that are involved; appointments; and days, how many days will it take to complete that process. After that, then comes concluding sentence. I hope the proposal will be accepted, so that the preparation to set up the debating club or whatever it is may begin soon. All right. and then name and in what capacity are you writing that proposal. All right. So this way, a proposal carries 10 marks. 2 marks for introduction, 2 marks are there for objectives, 4 marks are there for list of measures, 1 mark is there for concluding remark, and 1 mark is there for linguistic ability. I hope it is clear. I hope it is clear. Any doubt that you have? Any doubt that you have for proposal writing, children? If not, then I would like to move ahead. Okay. Now let me discuss with you reading comprehension. Okay. Now you see reading comprehension, and after that I will take that question on functional grammar because it may take a little longer that way. So when we talk about reading comprehension, see, a passage will be given to you, all right, and then there are going to be three types of questions which you have to answer. The first question is going to be vocabulary based question. Okay. Now vocabulary based question means that let me just open some sort of passage and show you how is it going to be, right? Arit, ma'am, can you share the screen again? Which screen are you asking for, Arit? Related to what? Please let me know. Yes, children. So as you can see, question number 4 is going to be your question for unseen passage for comprehension. So a passage will be given to you of around 1000 words, 800,000 words, which you have to, this may be an excerpt from a book or from a novel or from any other text. And then there are going to be three types of questions. So as you can see how the questions are divided, first is this, as it is given in Roman. So this first part, it consists of two more parts, A and B. Why am I focusing on this? Because when you answer, see, in your answer script, you are only going to write question number. You have to be very careful while writing the question number. Let me tell you, for composition, children sometimes they write only question 1. Which part of question 1 are you opting for? It's very important to mention that. Examiners really get irritated when they, because see, it's a long composition that you can't leave it on the examiner, that let the examiner decide or let the examiner assume or guess on which part of the question you are answering there. You are not supposed to do that. You have to be very careful while mentioning the question number. All right. So, like for comprehension, if you are answering first part of it, then you have to one and then A. A part should also be mentioned. Now, this first part always talks about Arit. Okay, I will share it with you. Don't worry. So, the first part, A part means given below are three words and phrases. Find the words which have a similar meaning in the passage. So, word or phrase is given to you, and you have to find a word from the passage which has similar meaning. Okay, so you see, this is one type. Now, the next type is for each of the words given below, choose the correct sentence that uses the same word unchanged in spelling but with a different meaning. Unchanged in spelling but with a different meaning. Now, you see, for example, this word vessel. Vessel means body also. Vessel means a pot also, bartan, a sort of. Now, you have to see in what way the same word has been used in the passage. And you have to choose the sentence out of the options given which has a different meaning than that. So it's a slightly tricky, needs practice. I hope you all know about it, right? So you have to be very careful. Now, one thing that I would like to tell you regarding these questions, beta, See, when you are given the question paper for reading, when reading time is happening, you are not supposed to write anything at that time. So, when reading is happening, then please go through the passage once. Now, after first reading, you should definitely read the questions and then give the second reading to the passage. Now, when you are reading it for the second time, it will be very easy for you to locate while reading it again. And once you have read the questions, somehow you will be able to understand, okay, this word might be used over there, or this is where my answer is located for a short question. All right, so at that time you may jot down, make some sort of symbol, some mark it somewhere on your on that passage, and then you will be able to answer it more precisely and quickly. All right, so this is the first part of the questions. Now the second part is, they are three questions are given as short answer type. So they are marked very clearly. Like for the first, these three questions of 2 marks each, means in every answer 2 points will definitely be there. All right, so you will have to write those 2 points. Now most of the time these questions are answered from the passage only. So sometimes in one of the answers you may find 4 points are there. So actually the answer has to come from the passage. So if you see that the question is demanding some sort of description which is given in the passage, there may be 4 points for half mark each, or there may be 2 points for 1 mark each. All right. And then the third question is actually Prezi writing. Prezi, which you have to write in 100 words. But for that, you will definitely be given the area or the location in the passage from where you have to write the answer of this question. So the question for Prezi writing is like any other question. Summarize facts about Arsène Lupin as mentioned in paragraph 5, 6, 7. So you just have to write facts about him. So whatever the answer lies in these three paragraphs only. Now whatever word limit of these paragraphs is, you just have to summarize it into 100 words. Now please understand, when Prezi is checked, it's always content and expression. Okay, now content is for 4 marks. 4 marks means 8 points. All right, 4 marks means 8 points of half mark each. Half mark each. So when you are writing the Prezi, you have to make sure, when you are answering this question, you have to make sure that you are writing 8 points which are required to answer this question. All right, and then of course expressions again means 4 marks, and for expression your mistakes are counted. So you have to make sure that you do not make any grammatical error, any punctuation error, any spelling error, any error of tense or syntax. All right. So in most of the situations we find that the child has answered the question properly. Prezi is written, grid is formed, exact 100 words, everything, but they are not putting full stops, or they are not using capital letters wherever necessary, they are not putting commas wherever necessary. So these mistakes will be counted as errors, and then you'll lose marks in expression. Okay, so please don't go for such mistakes. Is it clear? I hope it is clear. All right, now let's talk about any query that you have from unseen passage. Now let's talk about this question number 3, again, which has 3 parts. So first part is transformation of sentences. Second part is phrasal verbs. Now here it is showing, I have taken I think an old sample paper, but now what will happen, you will be given, means the sentence will have a phrasal verb, and that preposition will be underlined which is incorrect, and you have to write the correct preposition in place of that. Are they saying, ma'am, before writing the Prezi, if I want to write it in my own words in 125 words, then arrange it in 100 words in rough and fair, can I do it? If yes, how? Of course. See, what children do most of the time, they write sentences first. Okay, and then they somehow minimize them and they try to fit them in the grid. That can be done, but it will be very time consuming. I feel that you should have practiced it that way, and then you can do it quickly. If you can manage to do it, you can. Krishna Yadav says, ma'am, is it necessary to mention 8 points in Pressy? Yes, dear. 8 points for half mark each. That's how you get marks for content in Pressy. There are definitely going to be 8 points. Alright? Okay, so this time the question that you are going to get for phrasal verb is like an incorrect preposition will be used, and you will have to write the correct preposition. Now, in any case, it is not possible that you are given correct preposition there. Okay, so one confusion, this should not be there. Now, this is the question for which children are often very confused. They feel that, there are so many phrasal verbs. How is it possible for us to learn? So, as I told you, beta, it is a language paper. It's based on your previous knowledge as well, basic knowledge as well. But yes, I would like to do some important phrasal verbs with you, so that these are the ones which I feel that everybody should know, and based on previous year's papers, I have tried to make a list of them and jot them down. So these phrasal verbs, I think you all should be able to know. Like, you see, if we talk about back down, so back down actually means withdraw, give up resisting. The principal did not back down from implementing new rules. Blow up can be used like for explode, to get angry. The chemistry experiment blew up because of extra acid, so that is explode. And sometimes the teacher blew up on the students as they were making noise, so means she got angry. So in two ways it can be used. Breakdown means stop working. The bus broke down while going on the school trip. Sometime, and another meaning for breakdown is to lose emotion. When somebody breaks down means start crying. So that is also there. Bring up means to raise a child, and it also means to mention a topic. Please don't bring up last week's incident in front of him, right? Bump into is to meet by chance. I bumped into my English teacher at the bookstore. Call off, cancel. The school called off the assembly due to rain. Carry on means to continue. Despite difficulties, the team carried on with the project. Check in, register at a hotel, or start an event. Both the things. Everyone must check in before the exam starts. Check out means to look at or leave. Check out this new poem we studied today. Then come across, find by chance, or appear to be. While reading, I came across a rare word, right? Then come up with means create or think of. He came up with a brilliant solution for the assignment. Cut down on means to reduce. Students should cut down on distractions before exams. Drop out means to leave school or a program. It's sad that some students drop out before graduation. Figure out is to understand or to solve. She figured out the mystery in the novel quickly. Fill in means substitute or complete. Please fill in for me at the meeting if I am late. So filling means a complete what? Complete form. You are often asked, fill in the details, fill in the blanks. So means complete. Then find out means to discover. The teacher found out who was responsible. Get along with means to be friendly with. The new student gets along well with the class. Get over means recover from. It took time to get over the disappointment. Go over means review or check. Go over your answers before submitting the test. Go over your answers before submitting your answer script. Grow up means become an adult. When I grow up, I want to be a professor. Hang on means wait or hold. Hang on, the results will be announced soon. Hand in to submit. Please hand in your homework on time. Keep up with means stay at the same pace. It's hard to keep up with all the syllabus revisions. Look after is to take care of. Siblings often look after each other during school functions. Look for means search. He was looking for his lost library book. Look forward to means anticipate with pleasure. I look forward to the annual cultural fest every year. Look into means to investigate. The school will look into the complaint. Look up means search for information. Look up the new vocabulary in your dictionary. Make up means invent or reconcile. She made up an excuse for being late. Pass out means faint or distribute. He passed out during the parade practice. Uh, Pick up means collect or learn. You will pick up skills, new skills during the workshop. Point out means indicate. The teacher pointed out all the major errors in the essays. Put off means postpone. The test was put off to next week due to a holiday. Put up with means to tolerate. Students have to put up with noise during constructions. Run out of means finish supply. We ran out of chart paper for our project work. Set up means to arrange or establish. The science club set up the exhibition by themselves. Show up means to appear or arrive. Not everyone showed up for the extra class. Take after. Take after is to resemble in character or in appearance. She takes after her mother in her dedication. Take part in means to participate. The whole class took part in the debate competition. Take up means to start a hobby or an activity. He took up photography after the art exhibition. Turn down means to refuse. She turned down the offer from another school. Workout means to solve or exercise. They need to work out the budget before the trip. Write down means record on paper. Write down the main points from today's lesson. Break up means to end a relationship. The school broke up for summer vacation in May. Put on means wear. Don't forget to put on your school uniform. Set off is to begin a journey. The group set off early for the educational tour. Take off means to leave suddenly. Remove clothes also means take off. His career took off after his research paper. Look out means be careful. Look out for traffic while crossing the road. Bring about is cause to happen. The campaign brought about a change in the school rules. Get by means manage to live or survive. Can you get by on the pocket money given by parents? Call back is to return a call. I will call back once the class is over. All right, so these are this list which I have just discussed with you, which I told you about. Actually, this has been formulated after studying last year's papers. And one thing that I would really like to tell you, if you really want to score well in language paper, it's a matter of practice. As much as you practice, you all must be having total English. Practice all the 15 practice papers that are there, solve them, check your answers, do previous year's papers. You see, if you do 4 5 years of papers, you'll be able to understand that most of the time the kind of transformations which come, they are repeated. Okay, so you at least come to know certain topics that are definitely very important for you to do and to learn. So please go through the rules once again. I would say this time is not, it's not to learn anything new. It's just to practice and revise what you have already done. All right, all the very best, children, for your exam tomorrow. I know you all are going to do really well. You all are going to come up with flying colors. Believe me, exams are to test what you know. They are not to test what you don't know. All right, when you see the paper, you will come to know that you are able to handle every question. The thing is that you need to read the question carefully, decode the question, find out what is asked in the question, and plan your compositions, plan your answers. It's not that you will read the question and suddenly you will start writing whatever comes to your mind. Give a pause, think what you have to write, and then go ahead by writing answers. Now I would like to take up your queries for last 1 or 2 minutes, whatever is there. Otherwise, you can post me. I will definitely answer. So I've got, ma'am, what would be the answer of this question? I must get up to writing this assignment as it is due to tomorrow. Get on with writing this assignment. All right. So this I am going to end up the session here only right now, and I hope whatever doubts that you had, they are clear. And still, if you have any doubts or queries, please write it down, post it. I will definitely answer. And also, Krishna is asking, ma'am, in argumentative essay, the title should be related to the topic, or it should be for or against the motion. Should be related to the topic, beta. For example, if I told you the statement is plastic bags should be banned, so you may give the topic use impact of plastic bags. That's it. Okay, it should be related to the topic. Okay, ma'am, can we use the point given in the question for introduction or objective? Write a proposal to organize a inter-house talent competition to encourage the hidden talent. Of course, you can give, beta. If you are, yes, you are adding to encourage there, right? So that's how it tells us about the purpose. Uh, this way, let me stop this streaming now, and I hope I'm able to answer most of your queries. Still, I let me repeat myself. If you have any queries, please put them. I'll try to answer as much as possible, and just revise. Look at the specimen paper CFQs which have been given by the council. I really advise that all of you should go through them once before going to your paper. Thank you so much. Bye bye.